RugbyHub viewers, welcome back. It's another Six Nations episode. We are very excited. Gabsy, you're actually in the UK. How are you doing?
Great, lovely to see you. No, I'm really pumped up. Round three, all to play for. I think it's going to be obviously a very important round for the bigger picture of obviously the tournament as a whole.
In terms of the standings, definitely. Like this is the round that will decide actually the upcoming games of who's going to take it. The Grand Slam is still up for grabs. No, and actually, Gabsy, I remember the last time we recorded this Calcutta Cup episode. I mean, we had a blooper reel for around for
We
around
can
like
maybe
30
work it
minutes.
in. Yeah, we spent like, I don't know, half an hour to record 2 minutes because you kept going on about Wales playing France, but it was actually just Italy and France, which is again the Sunday game. So please, it's in Rome and it's being hosted by
Yeah,
Italy versus France. But Guri, let's jump into the first game.
yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be at the Principality, and I especially left this one for the pod. I didn't mention
Mm,
anything to you before the pod,
want to
but
surprise me?
guess what? Who's going to be at the Principality this
No
weekend?
ways. You're joking. Are you going?
I'm going to go and yeah, I got a call up from Gatlin. Obviously, since he's
Yeah.
out, they decided for me to get in there. So gonna go and
But
watch.
he
Actually, very excited. First time at the Principality. Going to watch Wales versus Ireland.
apparently Cardiff, amazing place to go and watch rugby. So whoever's going, very jealous. That includes you, Gabsy. I'm super jealous for you to go watch that game. And that's the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one. I'm very excited. I'll try and get a couple of quick quick interviews around the stadium in there. I've got my mics with. So yeah,
Yeah.
guys, if you are a rugby up fan, come and find us. Anyways, Guri, obviously massive talking point for that game. Warren Gatlin sacked just at the end of last week. Well, sorry, let's not say sacked. Mutual agreement. They decided to part ways after 500 days of not winning a single game. I think you had to draw
Brutal.
the line somewhere. Obviously.
Mm,
Gatland's got a great legacy with Wales. Like
mm.
nobody can take that away from him.
No,
But
he's a
right,
legend.
yeah, he's a legend. He's done amazing things, Grand Slam, World Cup semifinals, amazing coach. Just right now, it's not
Mm,
working. And, some people have been critical about the timing and saying like in the middle of international tournament. However, I mean, if not now, when? You wait it
yeah.
out and you maybe again get a wooden spoon, or you hope for a miracle and you make change now. I don't know.
Mm.
What do you think? Do you think it was a bit of a stupid decision, or do you think it was the right thing to do?
No, that I think the time is right. It just, I think the players, it's a young team. They need a new message. Matt Sherratt coming in from Cardiff, obviously interim, but I don't know if they will be able to change anything for the
Yeah.
Six Nations. I don't know if there's any going to be any like excel in the performance or a drop off in the performance. I think they're still going to struggle with the fundamentals. Um, but yeah, unfortunately for Gatland, for all the trophies that he's won and all the legacy that he's created for Wales, that it had to come down to this is obviously not that great. But yeah, Wales is just they've got another game. They've got another game to play, and this time it's a very tough ask,
It's definitely
right?
going to be probably the most difficult opponent they'll face this tournament because Ireland is looking fantastic.
Yeah,
And
they look good.
obviously, I mean,
Shit.
Ireland is at this stage the only team that can still go for the Grand Slam. They're playing phenomenal rugby, definitely tournament favorites.
Mm.
And I think, yeah, just to end it off on Gatlin and kind of the situation in the Wales camp, I do think that sometimes we've seen this in the past where when change occurs that there can be a
A
slight
spike, yeah.
spike in performance because there's
Mm.
new energy, there's change in the squad. Obviously,
Message is different. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we don't know the team right now. We're recording
Mm.
pre-announcement. We only have the English team out right now. And I don't expect to see a major amount of differences right now.
Mm.
Now it's almost like a Joe Schmidt task with Australia, like it's
Mm.
about building a new legacy with Wales. Obviously, they still have to also make a call on the long-term decision, who's going to take that. Well, I know there's a couple of names in the hat there, like Ronan O'Gara, actually Franco Smith, and also Cheka and a couple of others. I don't know
Mm.
who's going to be the man for that job. That's probably for another episode to discuss that.
Yeah.
But Guri, in this game, obviously, a couple of injuries from Ireland. You want to run us through that? Do you think it's going to affect the game? And then I guess we don't have to spend too much time on this. Obviously, Ireland's going to win this game. I mean, we don't really have to talk about that.
That feels
Um,
brutal. That
but
feels
yeah,
very brutal, Gabsy. But yeah, we said it in the previous podcast as well. Like we were very harsh on Wales, and unfortunately, what we expected came to play. But the one thing that Matcher did do is bring in um, Gareth Anscombe, actually an experienced fly half, the conductor of a team that actually has experience and that can run a team in terms of attack. So I think that could make a big difference. On the other side, you've got Ireland. They lose a player like Caelan Doris, their captain, and who comes in? Your number 8 from the Lions from 2021 in Jack Conan, who is on fire at the moment, playing incredible rugby off the bench. And then other injuries was okay, Todd Furlong is not ready yet. Ronan Keller,
Ronan, yeah,
yeah, not ready yet, but once again, you got Dan Sheehan, who is once again on fire.
yeah.
So, I mean, these guys are just like they're built for winning at this stage. They're all in tune. You got Sam Prendergast playing great rugby. You got Jack
Sampy.
Crowley playing great rugby. Their forwards are on fire at the moment. Finley Beelan is playing very well. So, I think it's a very tough ask for Wales, and I see a comfortable victory for Ireland if they don't get too cocky. Mark those words, might even be the
Well,
headline.
Guri, thank you for that because I don't think we need to say much more. I'll definitely be wearing a Wales jersey. I'm gonna buy myself
Mm,
one. Already decided that. I'm gonna support Wales in, full colors. I don't think they'll win, but
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
I'll
do we
support the
say
Irish.
plus
I want to see
40,
them. I want
plus
to see them
40,
get another Grand Slam.
plus 40, plus 30, plus 20,
No. Well, actually, I said no way too quickly. Yeah, maybe.
plus
But
40,
15.
15,
15. Yeah. I think
1
15 is a
5.
good
Oh,
call.
that's
1-5.
a
Yeah.
going
Conservative.
close.
Conservative.
I'll say plus 21, but Guri, let's not waste too much time because we've got so much to talk about on this next game.
Yeah.
It's the Calcutta Cup. It's a massive one. It's
Ah,
Twickenham. Obviously, the last two times Scotland has played at Twickenham in the Calcutta Cup, they've beaten England. Right now,
mm,
they're going for 5 on the trot. Obviously, our good old friends over at the Rugby Pod for the love of rugby, all these
yeah.
expert pundits.
Record
Um, these
for
guys
them.
are, yeah, I mean, these guys are obviously backing their boys. They're saying, like
Legends.
England's back up, England, they've won one game, they're back up. They've beaten a very poor
Mm,
France, and they are the team to beat right now. So apparently
mm.
they've also got a chance at winning the Six Nations. I hope I don't count my words one day, but Gree, what do you make of this game? It's going to be a massive one. We've got the English
They
team
do.
sheet. Obviously, a massive game. We see one big change in the English lineup, which is Ollie Chesham coming in. What do you make of this lineup, this team that's been selected? Obviously, a massive game ahead of them for the Calcutta Cup.
Yeah, I mean, Gabsy, they haven't won in the last 4 against Scotland, which, yeah, like you said, there's a new record if Scotland manages to win this one. Ollie Chesson coming in for George Martin, and I think that has to do with a line-out option, having that extra line-out option. I know they've said it in the other pods as well, but it just makes sense. Like if Steve Borthwick goes for a more dynamic, shorter, stockier back three or back row rather, in Tom Curry, Ben Earl, and Tom Willis, then you don't have as many lineout options, and their lineout has we're struggling a little bit against France with who was Luke Kawandiki.
Kawandiki, yeah.
Kawandiki, yeah, but I'll have to say that there was a big difference just with the leadership that comes off the bench with Jamie George, the captain now, well, the previous captain rather, that came off the bench, actually saw them win that game. I think I was extremely impressed with him. That
Yeah.
last little,
I
yeah,
mean,
that
it,
last
it,
bit.
it brings me to my next big talking point. Obviously, a very exciting one. So, Rassie Erasmus has, reshaped rugby with a 7-1 split, which apparently France is looking at doing. And now you've heard our good old friends again, yet again, the professional pundits over at the Love of Rugby. They decided to give them a name, and it's called the Pom Squad.
I love that.
It has a good sound to it. Um, And now the question is like, a guy
The
like
Pom squad.
the Pom squad, does does
Seen it.
does Jamie George,
Yeah.
is he doing so well off the Pom squad that he's not going to get back into the starting lineup because he's kind of bringing the ship home? You've got the leadership of Itoje starting the game, and
Yeah.
then Jamie comes on at the end. Obviously, super experienced international for England,
Mm.
along with a couple of other big names.
Yeah.
Obviously, Elliot Daly has shown how good he's been off the bench,
Wow.
scoring a very, very good try, very important try for England 2 weeks ago. But again, Guri, yeah, I mean, what do we expect of this game from Scotland, actually? I mean, we don't know the team yet. Do
Yeah.
we think they can go right now? England are the favourites according to the bookmakers, according to the real pundits out there.
They are the favorites, right? England.
Yeah, England's
Yeah.
favourites. It's a home game for them.
Yeah.
One interesting thing is obviously Marcus Smith has been reselected at 15.
Mm.
I don't think we'll see the same type of kicking game. We know we won't see the same type of kicking game that we've seen in the game against France.
Mm.
They kick it long
Mm.
and hope for the best. Where we know Finn Russell, if he
Hope for
does,
the best.
yeah, if he's fit to play, Finn Russell's going to make it exciting. He's going to make it
Mm.
interesting. He's going to be obviously putting a lot more pressure on Marcus and putting a lot more challenges on Marcus. You probably see the likes of Blake Kinghorn, Duan van der Merwe, and apparently Darcy Graham is also fit again. So let's see if he's
Mm.
going to make that starting lineup. They'll put a lot more pressure on the likes of Marcus Smith.
Mm.
Unless you shift someone like Freeman into a position where he can
To
actually be,
midfield
yeah,
or
no, well, Freeman, if he can be under the high ball. But
mm.
I don't think that we should write off Scotland in this game. I mean,
Of course
there's
not.
no reason why they can't go and win
No.
this. I mean, if Finn Russell, and he needs a big game. He needs
Yeah.
a big game. Finn Russell needs a big game to write his name on that 10 jersey for the
Absolutely.
Lions tour. He hasn't had a
Absolutely.
big game. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's going to be a really good game. Obviously, the game of the weekend.
Mm.
Fucking brand new Pom squad in there. Um, and then yeah, obviously Scotland going for five in a row, Gary.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, actually, rugby is an interesting sport where the bench, makes such a big difference to the game and the outcome of the game. And England has a weird way, and Steve Borthwick has a weird way of handling the bench. Sometimes he doesn't even put on the entire bench. He just leaves players and they don't play. Um, the experiment with Finn Smith and Marcus Smith at fullback worked very well. The 10 and 15 combo against France. And as you mentioned, France kicks long. But what happens now when you have Scotland who kicks more contestable? And you've got Duan, who's a tall player, Ray Kinghorn, tall player, might be putting much more pressure on Marcus Smith, maybe less loose kicks for him to pounce on and, build some sort of a counter attack. I think this is a very interesting game. It might be still a little bit of a gamble for Scotland, but actually both of their positions as head coach is maybe a bit under question, even though Steve Borthwick just won against France in a little bit of an ugly game, let's be honest. At what point do we question Gregor Townsend's, sort
Yeah,
of safety in his position? Because he's
yeah.
been handling a team, and Scotland has always had that mentality from we're almost there. We
This is the
won this
year.
game,
This is
and
the
this is the
year. This
year.
is the year.
But they
This is the
haven't
year.
quite reached that yet. I'll be surprised if we see Darcy Graham. I'll be surprised if Scotland wins the last 20 minutes, even though England has not been great in the last 20 minutes lately. But I have faith with Jamie George on the bench coming on and giving the
Can't
leadership
believe that
that
I'm hearing that out of your mouth. Actually backing England. Yeah, is that what
you're
it
the
sounds like?
one who
I'm not. I'm definitely, my
even though
money
you
is on
have
Scotland all day.
Morrow Itoje on speed dial, you don't ever call him. So I don't know. I honestly feel like Scotland's gonna put up a hell of a match at Twickenham. They need it. Finn Russell, as you mentioned, needs a big, big game. He went
Yeah,
off early. Tom Jordan, I felt played very well. I wouldn't be surprised if he's at 12
it would be
again this
nice to
weekend.
see him at 12. I would
Yeah.
like to see him at 12. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a massive game. We don't
How
have
do
to.
you see this
Yeah.
game in terms of prediction?
Gray, honestly, I think it really is. I know you talk about the last 20, but I actually think it's going to all come down to who's
The
going to dominate
first.
that first half,
Mm,
even like the first 20. If
yeah.
Scotland can stay in it, I think they can actually win the game. But if England from the get-go goes away with it, as you mentioned, they've been good in the last 20. They've struggled in the last 20, but they've been good in the last 20 with Jamie George and their new Palm squad. Shout out to
in the
Rassi for
last
that.
game.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the one game they won, obviously, because they're now really on the up again. But I do think if
Contenders for the
Scotland,
World
yeah,
Cup, obviously.
contenders for the Six Nations, everything. However, this game is super important, right? I mean,
It's crucial for the
if
standing.
if Scotland loses here, all of a sudden they find themselves again, battling out at the bottom of the table.
Uh,
Well, not bottom, but like in the lower half,
mm,
where obviously they've never finished above third place in the Six Nations in history. And this
and
is the year where if they can go and win England on Saturday, they
mm,
could see themselves actually fighting for a second place
and so
if
does
obviously
England.
the stars align.
Mm.
Um, they
England
got
can
that
also
last
go all
game.
the way. No.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And
I
that
mean,
brings us to the last game of the weekend.
let's quickly make a prediction here, Guri. What are you going to call that one?
Um, I think England's going to win, but it's going to be very tight. I think it's a 3-point, 2-point game.
Obviously, going to go with my
But
Scottish brothers. Let's go,
Finn
Duan.
Russell
Let's
needs
go,
to be on
fetch the boys.
fire. Let's go,
Finn
boys.
Russell coming out of a bang. Duan van der Merwe scoring one or two magical tries as
First
he
player
likes to
ever to
do.
score a hat trick in the
Patrick.
Calcutta Cup. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So again, we obviously, as always, agree to disagree on different opinions
as
because
always.
next week when we come back, we will obviously have the right predictions between the two of us either way. Um, then let's go into the last game, a
Yeah.
massive one. Just a friendly reminder, we're talking about
Roma.
Italy versus France this time around.
Dollare.
A
Oh.
little siesta Sunday
Mm,
afternoon, and I think this time around France will go and field a strong team. They need a bonus point win. They've learned their
They had a
lesson.
scary one last year.
Last year, they drew in France against
Mm,
Italy. They thought, it's going to be a easy. However, Italy has been on the up. They've
mm,
done their job against Wales. They've done what they needed to. And I think obviously France are the favorites. I don't think Italy will go and cause an upset here,
mm,
but I'm also expecting France to select a strong team.
mm. Well, Intermark's still out. Jalibert will probably continue. Pinot will be there. I mean, your strong forward pack will still be there. I
Do you
also
think we maybe
think,
see, just sorry for interrupting you,
yeah,
do you think we maybe see the point at 10?
no, that was the worst. I didn't understand that decision at all during the game against against England. Didn't get it. I'm a big fan of Le Garec. He's one of my favorite players. I think if
Yeah,
it
that's why I'm
wasn't
asking
for
you to make room for
no,
your favorite.
the pawn shouldn't be. He's such a great player and such a great leader, but don't push it. No,
They can rather play him at a hooker. We can see that he can throw the ball in.
I mean he's such
Um,
yeah. Anyways, but
he
I
can play anywhere. Yeah.
and then Italy, Gabsy, honestly, Italy in Rome, I wouldn't say they can't do it.
Oof, that's a
I know
big
that sounds
call.
ridiculous,
That's
but
a
I
big
wouldn't
call.
say they would have gotten a lot of confidence from the fact that, yeah, obviously that they beat Wales relatively comfortably. We told, well, we spoke on the podcast after the game that Italy might need to be a bit more ruthless in the way that they make their decisions, go for the try, put their opposition more under pressure instead of just tipping over the 3 points over the post. But against France, they need to be ruthless, and
Yeah.
I think they have it in them, honestly. And they've got a few good players, standout players that can
No,
cause
I definitely
an
think
upset.
they can bring the game to France. It's going to be a good game. They've got obviously look, we talked about the
We
center
just don't
pairing,
know the selection.
really good ball carriers. But Italy will be consistent, I guess, in that selection.
Mm.
Obviously, the fair line is fairly set. Same goes for the forward pack. You can maybe expect one or two small changes, if any. I don't think you'll see any changes in the Italian lineup.
But
And
can
then
they
from
sustain 80 minutes of physical pressure?
Yeah, I mean,
That's the big question.
If France really brings it to them, that's going to be the big question. Guri, we've been chatting. It's been a while, guys. We are now obviously on Spotify. Check that out, please. Go
Mm.
and give us a subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Tell us how much you love or hate us,
Yeah, if you don't
and
have time to watch the
the
YouTube
videos.
videos, yeah, go check it out on Spotify while you're in traffic. Why not?
Just
get your
listen it.
rugby hub on.
And I mean, if you don't have a car, just listen it on the train or while walking to work.
Exactly. Or on the
Um,
bicycle.
on the bus, bicycle, in the
Mm.
gym, what more motivating than two Savas chatting a bit of ball?
Whatever
Anyways,
they know. Yeah.
whatever they know. Guri, great to have you as always. Thank you so much, my friend. And yeah, guys,
Enjoy the
let's
game
enjoy
this weekend,
the
Gabsy.
weekend. Let us
Yeah.
know what you guys think.